Hey Virgos. Oh boy, you guys got so mad last month. The month before it was Pisces that were in their feelings. This past month, it was you guys who were in your feelings. I mean, you guys were really, really, really in your feelings. Ooh, I got some really, really nasty messages from Virgos from all over. My tone is wrong. I don't understand you guys. I'm terrible. Which I find very interesting that you guys have such a hard time taking criticism considering that you criticize everybody. I'm just saying. Seems a little funny to me. Shout out to all the Virgos who left me super, super nasty messages and kept trying to post the comments and it wouldn't work and then got even more irritated because you couldn't figure out that the comments are held for review. Highlight of my month. Watching that meltdown happen slowly. Because it's mean, right? You guys shouldn't be doing that. So, for the rest of you guys who are super cool, can we just point out that I'm also a Virgo moon? So when you say that I don't like Virgos, you're so off because I love myself and I'm also part Virgo, so doesn't make any sense that you would think that. I really, really like Virgos a lot. I think I've mentioned in every video that I've done that I love Virgos. So I think it just comes down to you guys not being able to take criticism. I think you guys can dish it out, but you can't take it. And I think I'm helping. I'm just going to go with that. So, having said that, one of the things I figured out this past month is a constructive criticism I got off an Aries reading, which was, okay, we are like this, so how are you going to help us not be like this? You know, it's not enough to just tell us you're like this. What are you going to do to help us? And I'll take that. It's a good point. So, Virgos, I've pretty much told you over the past couple of months how I think you are and what you need to work on, but I never really said how you should work on it. So, we'll get into that today, okay? We'll talk about some ways that are very, very important for Virgos to meditate, some ways that they can meditate, some things they can cultivate in themselves to balance out what can be otherwise a pretty icy nature, right? So yeah, so that is that. Let's see, I'm sorry, Mercury, the shadow of Mercury is already, the shadow of Mercury retrograde is already upon us, and my technology is all going a little bit haywire. I apologize. And that affects you guys too, because Mercury is your ruler as it is mine, as it is Gemini's ruler. So we are in the same boat. Now, this month, we talked about the iciness just now. This month, you will be forced to melt a little bit. You may not want to, but it is a time for everyone this month to step out of their characteristic behavior and be pushed into something they really don't want to do or aren't comfortable with or don't know how to do, okay? So what do I mean? Well, for example, Scorpios are being asked not to be vengeful, not to strike. Geminis are being asked not to be heartless, okay? Cancers are being asked to not hold on so tight, you know, which they do. So you guys are being asked to not be as icy, to melt a little bit, to not be so analytical and actually, you know, answer the questions, the important questions. Are you happy? Sure, you've got your principles and you've got, you know, this is the way it has to be, and I've got my standards, and, you know, perfectionism is my thing, but are you happy? Right? The thing that I think attached me so much to the Virgos I dated was, you know, that was always my first question, because I'm a Gemini. Are you having fun? Where's the fun in your life? What do you do for fun? Yeah, no, I know you're really good at your job. Yeah, no, you're very handsome. Yeah, you're very successful. I get it. Lots of friends. Yeah, very popular. Sure, I get it. But are you happy? And the answer was inevitably, you know, what's happiness? Define happiness. That's a no, right? So, as always, you are being asked that same question. Are you happy? But this time, instead of being able to push it away and go about your life in a very pragmatic way, This time the question's not going to let up. This time the universe wants an answer. Are you happy? What are you doing for yourself? Is this fun? Are you having fun, or are you just surviving? Are you just getting through it? And even if you are out there having fun, are you doing it based on a checklist? You know, is it all going according to plan? Or are you really going to let loose? Are you going to let the chips fall where they may? Are you going to let that person you love back into your heart even though you know they're a disaster? Are you going to give up control? Right? Because the thing is, you guys control things so much that you take the fun out of it. You take the spontaneity out of it. Even your drinking, even your partying, even your traveling, it's so controlled, you know? And then you're obviously miserable and everybody can tell, you know, but you can't tell. You know? So it's always good for Virgos, for example. The Virgos I know that have Gemini friends are always really happy about their Gemini friendships because Geminis are a sign of fun. We want to go out there and we want to have fun, and we can drag you along with us to the point where we shake you and we're like, are you having fun yet? Are you having fun yet? And then at some point you're like, yes, I am having fun. Oh my God, are you like this all the time? Do you feel like this all the time? Yes. Yes, it is possible to feel like this all the time, I promise. So, am I asking you to completely give up your nature? No, but this month, the universe will ask you to put your nature to the side, absolutely. And it's asking that of everyone for different reasons. And I think it's a very healthy thing to do in terms of getting some perspective on yourself. You know, pulling that paper away from your face and being able to look at it and say, okay, yeah, this is what I'm like. And moving into next year, is this what I want? Do I want to continue in a very analytical, pragmatic way that keeps me tied down to perhaps an existence that I don't like? Or am I willing to walk out onto a bridge that I don't know can hold my weight? Am I willing to do something that's risky? Am I willing to take a risk at all in any way? Right? Because I know for you guys, you are risk averse. Okay? That much is true. You are risk averse. But not because you're scared. It's because things have to make sense to you. And there is something very debilitating about trying to make sense of something that is by nature nonsensical. You know, the universe is chaos. Of course, there's order in that chaos, and you are very good at finding that order. But you must first embrace the chaos of things if you are to find the beauty in them. The perfectionist beauty that you desire. It's counterintuitive, right? So you feel like because you desire this perfectionist beauty that you must highly control things and then that will produce that aesthetic that you like. It's actually the opposite. When you surrender to the chaos of things, you start to see a beauty, an order within that chaos. You can't see that order within the chaos if you don't let go. Right? If you don't surrender, you can't see that. Like, I'll give you an example. My female Virgo viewers, subscribers, are the ones who will always write in and say, oh, well, you know, do you think you should be flipping your hair in the middle of the reading? Do you think that you should be, maybe you should just spray it and pin it so it stays exactly the way it's supposed to? No, I can't do that. That's not me. You know what I mean? That sounds terrible to me, right? Because it's not real, right? It's not for me. It's not real for me, right? So this idea of the way it has to look, the way it has to look to the outside, the way the outside must respond to you in a positive way. And if it doesn't respond to you in a positive way, then you will be upset. This idea that you have in common with Librans where you must, you must have people like you. People have to like you. People have to approve of you. right? Be it your looks, be it your job, be it how much money you have, or how attractive your mate is, or how, successful your mate is, what have you. That idea of pandering almost to the outside world, seeking that acceptance, even though, most people won't realize that about you. Most people see the icy facade and they think, oh, that person doesn't care how people view them. No, you guys really care quite some how people think of you, right? You really do. You really, really do. So you do things to kind of hedge yourself in because you don't want that criticism. You're constantly afraid that the way that you criticize people in your heads is the way that they're also criticizing you back. And I assure you that they're not. No one takes as much time to pick people apart like you do. Well, except maybe me. That's the Virgo in me though, right? So, what we have now is kind of a tug of war between who you are and who you wish you were, who you want to be. And the bridge between who you are or where you are and where you want to be or who you want to be is one that involves an element of chaos. It does. And there's no way around it because it's a loss of control that has to happen here before you can really live. We're coming into a year. Next year is going to be all about, breaking out of your boundaries, breaking out of your shell, breaking out of what's normal, breaking out of what you've always done. And this is the prep. The prep is getting comfortable with the chaos. The prep is getting comfortable with uncertainty without immediately thinking that you're going to end up in poverty, that you're going to end up alone, that you're going to end up rejected, that you're going to end up not accepted by the group, not praised by the group, not applauded. You guys like that in a very quiet way. You love when people worship you. You love when people, say, wow, that person is really, you live for that. Even though you won't admit it, you do love it. And that is a weakness. It really is. When you put that much weight in what other people think, it is debilitating. It becomes a weakness. It's a liability, right? And this month is going to push and pull you around until you loosen up that aspect of yourself. Until you give yourself a little bit of room to, take a risk, make a mistake, leave a situation that you're just in for convenience and comfort, maybe, because it's easier. Maybe revisit a situation in which you were not so nice, not so honest, where you were in the wrong, right? Taking a risk to open up wounds that, open up to a relationship that really hurt you in the past, open up wounds that really, really, really hurt you, but you realize now that you were more culpable in that than you had originally thought, right? These are risks. These are emotional risks that you will be asked to take. We're coming into a retrograde. You're going to have a full moon in a part of your sky where these things are going to come up. And there's going to be some dominant energy that needs to be dealt with, Who is this? Who is this fire sign that's coming back? Because she's not happy. He's not happy, right? I mean, he or she is doing really well. Now they're doing really well, but you know where you put them. You know how they felt in the past, right? Are you sending messages now? Or still? To people you realize that you need to make amends with? These are all things that will happen, that will come up out of you this month that you won't necessarily be able to help. And you may find yourself losing control. You may find yourself feeling a loss of control. And it may really, really bother you. Which is why I'm not being, like normal, extra hard on you, because I know you can take it. And also that you need it. But I'm not going to do that because, the universe is going to be hard on you this month. It's doing my job. Because It's coming. And I've been telling you this for a couple of months now. You know, there is always a reckoning. Let me put it to you this way. Nobody gets away with it. Nobody gets away with it. If you hurt people, you're going to get hurt. If you use people, you're going to be used. If you leave people high and dry, the same thing will happen to you. Now, I'm not saying that you did all these things. I'm giving you examples of what people do and how it comes back to them. So, in this case, there are some people that you walked away from that there will be reconciliations possible with those people. However, how honest are you being with them? How honest were you back then? Did you put a lot of the blame on them? Or, consequently, did you put all the blame on you? Either one doesn't work, right? I've had a lot of criticism on the Virgo readings of, well, this must be more of a Virgo male because I'm a Virgo female and I don't behave that way. Okay. Cool. But, you know, either side of that scale, it's still the same problem. Like, either you're putting all your responsibilities off on someone else and saying, no, I had nothing to do with this. This is all that other person's fault. Or you're taking all the blame and shouldering all of it and being a victim or a martyr. Neither one of those things work. Neither one of those things is honest, right? And for a sign that requires complete honesty from the people around them, again, it's a bit hypocritical, right? So this month, so I'll stop ragging on you. This month, which I don't think I'm actually ragging on you, I'm telling you the truth. But this month, the universe will turn the tables on you. And it will want you now to experience how it feels to be on the other side of a Virgo's behavior. You know, now it will be you revisiting exes and saying, you know, can we make it work? Or I'm sorry that I did this or did that, and I'm sorry I took you for granted, and I'm sorry, you know. Or Virgo females, it'll be someone coming back to you and saying, I'm sorry, I did this and I shouldn't have done it, and it is my fault. And it will be up to you to actually say, yeah, you did, instead of saying, no, it's okay, I did it, it was me, you know. Virgo men, it'll be up to you to go to those women or women, men, I never like to assume, whoever it is, and say, you know, perhaps my ego was bigger than everything else. And now I realize that, you know, without love, without my heart, none of this means anything. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be without you anymore. What are we going to do? How are we going to fix this? Right? It's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to you because you guys are the ones that leave. You guys are the ones that left, and you guys are going to be the ones that have to fix it, right? So, that's going to require, let's look at these cards, yeah? That's going to require a level of strength, which you have. You can do it. I don't know if you want to do it. I don't think you do. But, you know, like I said, the universe isn't giving you much of a choice anymore. Now you're going to have to do it. Right? So, what do we have here? Queen of Wands, Five of Swords, Page of Wands, the Tower, the Empress, Five of Pentacles, 2 5s, Six of Swords, Strength, the Emperor, the Fool. Okay? What this is talking about, these fives here, it's asking you, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with the way you've behaved? Are you satisfied with the way things have gone? Are you happy about it? Are you okay with it? Can you live with it? Or is this stuff starting to finally eat at you? Are you at the point now where you have to say, you know, my heart hurts. I've pushed it away as long as I can. I've been analytical for as long as I can, but I can't do it anymore. I gotta get out of my own head because the inside of my head is starting to look very sad and very messy. Right? And what are you being called to do? What's the guidance that's coming through for you? First of all, be very careful with the drinking and the self-medicating because it's a problem. Okay? It's how Virgos deal with living in their heads all the time. It's a problem. So, what do we see here? We know things are going to move fast in a direction you don't want them to go, which is backwards. Okay? We know things are going to move fast and moving backwards because of the retrograde. But what you are being asked to do here is to trust your instincts. And let me explain it to you this way. A Virgo that doesn't trust their instincts isn't a Virgo. Okay? Because you are the hermit. You are the card of intuition. If you are not in touch with your intuition, this is the stuff that happens. You see this? This is all I wasn't listening to myself. I was in my head and I wasn't listening to myself, and I let these things happen to me or to others because of me, because I wasn't in tune with myself. Right? So, now you become the person who's sending messages. Now you become the person reaching out and saying, oh my God, I think I might have messed up. Oh my God, I think you might have been the love of my life. Oh my God, what did I do? Right? And this person is showing up as very authoritative and just being like, yeah, what'd you do? Because I waited and I waited and I waited and I heard nothing from you, and now here we are all this time later, and now you want to be like this. Okay, but now that person's acting like this. You know, you're not the only one allowed to have an ego, you know, is their take on it. You're not the only one allowed to think that there's something, right? Other people also have value. It's not just you, right? So you will have to be pretty strong in a way that you are not used to being strong, in a way where you realize that, you know, not everybody likes you. I think that's part of what you guys get irritated about with me. Oh, well, I don't think she likes us. I'm some person on YouTube. What do you care if I like you? You know, that's just silly. Like, it's not supposed to be that important to you whether people like you or not. And for people who constantly criticize other people and are real hard on them and real icy, it's kind of weird to me that you don't just take it as par for the course that people don't like you that much, which isn't even true. I'm just pointing out the absurdity of being worried about that. You know, people who are worried about people not liking them would probably actually be warmer and nicer, but you guys aren't. So I don't understand why it's so important that people like it. It's like, you should like me anyway. I should be allowed to be as icy and as removed as I want, but you should like me anyway. And what I'm saying is, this month the universe says, no, you are going to be less icy. You want to have fun. You don't want to be lonely. Drop this facade. Drop this lone wolf kind of thing you got going on where you don't need anybody and you're fine by yourself, because we all know that you're not fine by yourself. You're miserable. So stop it. Stop it. Stop trying to live up to some, you know, fantasy version of yourself where you don't need anybody. No man is an island, okay? No matter how much you wish you were, you're not, okay? So that's where a lot of this self-medicating comes in. And this can be in many forms. You know, some of you work out too much. Some of you drink too much. Some of you don't eat enough. Some, you know, there's all kinds of different ways this is excess plays out in the Virgo mind, because you can't handle the amount of pressure that your mind puts on itself. And I think that's part of the reason also that my readings irritate you guys, because it's like, I already put enough pressure on myself. I want something external to be positive. Yes, but the kind of pressure you put on yourself isn't helpful. It's the kind of pressure that debilitates you, right? It gets you into a place where people start to think that you're dishonest because of the way you behave. And then it's reinforced by you pulling away and leaving. Right? So it's not a surprise that we're here. It's not a surprise that this is what's going on in your head. Not at all. You know, you're like in the I Ching, it says you're like a person who's woken up on a tightrope, and everyone else can see that you've gotten there by your own mistakes, but you can't. To you, it's like a mystery that you've woken up from and said, oh, whoa, wait, why am I here? You know, everyone who's been watching you is like, yeah, we know exactly how you got there. You got there by being how you are. But you're like, oh my God, what happened, right? So that's where you find yourself now. But as much as this may seem like a negative reading, it's actually really, really not. Because you have some very positive cards here, and you have the card of speed. So what this is actually is a reading of realization. It's finally waking up to this stuff instead of taking it wrong, instead of taking it personally, instead of getting worked up and getting mean. You're actually beginning to now see these things and say, you know, there might be something to this. I might have to let that iciness go. I might have to let that old relationship come back. I might have to be more careful in how much I care what other people say about me and not put so much weight into it. You're finally beginning to see things that perhaps people around you who love you have been telling you or been trying to tell you for a very long time. Okay? And it is a month of uncharacteristic, like I said, uncharacteristic changes. There is a catharsis that's going to happen here, and it is for your benefit because it's setting you up for a much, much more open, emotionally involved 2017, which is what we want for you, Virgo. We need you to get out of your head and trust your instincts and have some emotional intelligence, and you can't do that if you keep walking away from people. You can't do that if you're being deceptive. You can't do that if you feel left out in the cold. You can't do that if you're afraid of confrontation. You can't do that if you're afraid that, love is going to kill you. You can't do that when you're overindulging in stuff. You understand? So all these things are now being brought to the fore, and I feel like that's why, like I said in another reading, I forget which one, my readings are a little bit premature. Like, I'm a little bit ahead, right? So the past couple of months, the stuff I've been picking up on is now kind of culminating in one fell swoop in December, where all this is laid out in front of you about you, and it's like, what are you going to do with this? This is where we're at. This is where you're at. You're not having fun. You're not satisfied. You're doing things that hurt people. The person you actually want to be with, you don't have the guts to be with. You don't have the guts to say you're sorry. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to languish? Are you going to settle? Right? Are you going to settle for somebody? Because then you may as well do this. If that's what it comes down to, right? You can't have super, super high standards and be super picky about your partner. And then when it seems like you won't end up with that person, or you seem like your pride, or it becomes evident that your pride is too powerful for you to get back down on your hands and knees and beg that person to come back to you. If you can't do that, where do those high standards go? What happens to all that? I'm only going to be with this kind of person, it all goes out the window, and then you settle for someone who isn't good enough for you, right? So where on this sliding scale, Virgo, do you find yourself? Because December is going to show you exactly where you fall on this scale. And it's going to expose parts of you that you really don't want exposed. And it's going to bring them to the light. That full moon is really going to shine a light on things and say, what are you doing? And you will have to be extremely strong to deal with it. To deal with the realizations that will now hit you. Right? Like a bus. And I'm right there with you. I'm going through it too. So please don't take it so personally. This is for all of us, including myself. I'm talking to myself here too, right? And there is a real battle here, okay? Between your ego, as always, and your heart. This is the battle. This is the battlefield. This is where we are. This is what's going on with you in December. And this is the guy that the universe drags to the front. And this is the guy, who gets left behind. You don't have a choice anymore. This is what the universe is about. Is tired of letting you run things and you running amok. Okay? So now it takes control and it puts you in situations where you're like, oh my God, why is this happening? I can't handle this. Oh my God. But you will handle it. And you will be fine. And you will apologize to the people you need to apologize to. And you will go back to people you've left. And you will say you're sorry. And you will say that you love them. Now, how they will react and what they will say in return, I can't tell you. I don't know. But I know what you have to do, and I know what you're going to do. And I think it's, at the end of the day, Virgo, you really need to be fair. And when you're not fair, it eats at you. It keeps you from trusting your instincts. It keeps you from being satisfied. It keeps you from having fun. And the price you pay for that is having to settle in your life if you can't put your ego aside and say, you know, I was wrong. That's really what this month is about for you. So I don't know if that's yet another super negative reading. Oh my God, she hates Virgos. Please get over it. I don't hate you guys at all. Not at all. I think you're wonderful. And I expect a lot from you, actually, is what it is. You're so smart. You're so, so, so bright. You should get this. Do it. Do it. Be better. Come on. You know? Come on. Be better. Be better. You can be better. Right? It's not just always about pointing out how other people can be better and they should be doing this and they should be doing that. You can be better too. Yes, you can. And this is one of the ways you can do it. You can take some risks. You can apologize when you're wrong. You can admit when you're wrong to begin with, right? And I mean it about this. You gotta be careful. There's a lot of drinking going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know what it is. If it's drinking, if it's pills, if it's, I don't know. But if you're not straight, you know, smoking straight cannabis that's like healing you, then there's medicating going on here that has bad side effects, harmful side effects. Okay, so you have to be careful about that. And now that we've done the December reading, let's talk about meditation and how it applies to Virgos. And I've been really, really excited to talk to you guys about it, probably more than any other sign, because I think you'll benefit from it more than the other signs do, because it will speak directly to something in your nature that it's going to blow your mind that you have to change this, but it will be incredible if you change it. So, what am I talking about? We have studies now that prove that when you think analytically, you down-regulate almost something like 63 different genetic markers, okay? What does that mean? That means that you make yourself more unhealthy when you think analytically. You make yourself miserable, that we know. But you also make yourself physically unhealthy when you are mired in the analytical. So for you, meditation really has to be about getting in touch with and comfortable with the unknown. That which cannot be analyzed, that which cannot be categorized, that which cannot be forecasted. The things that don't make sense. The void, the thing we get in touch with when we meditate, that blank black space where everything and anything is possible. There's nothing analytical about it. That's the point of meditation, is to get comfortable with that part of yourself and get comfortable with that greater thing out there that is completely full of every sort of possibility and is just waiting for you to connect with it. But when you are analytical, when you think from a very realistic point of view, right? When you do that, you cut yourself off from an enormous power. Something extremely powerful that can give you basically anything you want. But it requires loss of control. Part of the way you guys control things is by analyzing it, categorizing it, labeling it, putting it away, compartmentalizing it. And the subconscious doesn't work that way. The greater universe that's listening to you, that's giving you the things you want, that listens to your prayers and hears you when you ask for things, it doesn't work that way. And every time you start to think that way, excuse me, you cut yourself off and you literally down-regulate your genes. You cut yourself off from health. You cut yourself off from happiness. You cut yourself off from spontaneity. You cut yourself off from love. It's beautiful to be the way you are. I'm the first person to admit that your mind is amazing. You are so smart. It is so fun to talk to you. It is so fun to hang out with you. But it is that same mind that can get you into so much misery, and it won't let up. Because every time you start to feel better, you put an analytical spin on it, and then all of a sudden you realize there's not much reason to feel better. Right? For you, meditation has to be about finding a way to become comfortable with that which cannot be analyzed, which cannot be known, which cannot be described. And sitting in that space, getting in touch with that void, and then just being there. Not for a reason, not because you want something, not because you want to make something happen, not because something good is going to come out of it, just really for no reason whatsoever. Just because. Okay? And what that will do for you is it will open up a part of you that once you get in touch with, nobody is better at living in that space than a Virgo. Remember, Hermit card. You are the ones that can go into the cave and reach other dimensions and be in those other dimensions. But you just need to get out of your head first. If you can quiet your ego, if you can quiet your frontal mind, your frontal brain, you're good. You're so much better at it than most of us are. But it requires a risk. Right? It's scary. It's scary to sit in the unknown. It's scary to be at one with the unknown. What is it? What am I doing? Why am I just sitting here? This doesn't feel right. Right? That place of being unsure, that place of the unknown is exactly where the magic happens. And it will happen for you like it happens for everybody else. But you got to give it a shot. You got to take a risk. And it's the same risks you will be asked to take in other ways this month. And it will be very, very good for you. It really will. Okay? So having said that, I'd also like to point out, and this is probably not as much for Virgos as it is for people who have been dumped by Virgos, but I will be putting up a I will be putting up a video on how to get your groove back after you've been broken up with or gone through a breakup, whether you did the breaking up or not. I mean, I find that Virgos are usually the ones that break up with people and then feel remorse as if they're the ones who gotten broken up with. They're still just as broken up about it. You feel just as much pain. So, of course, it applies to you guys as well. And I'll be doing another bonus video. So I'll be doing 2 bonus videos. The other bonus video will be on the 8 Gates meditation. And it will absolutely help you get in touch with the void. So I highly recommend it for you guys in particular. Okay, and then we come to the mala and the healing. So Virgos, if you want something to help open up your heart and get rid of that iciness, these beautiful pieces of technology that masquerade as jewelry are so phenomenal for that sort of work. I cannot begin to tell you how beneficial they have been for my health, for my metaphysical health, for my heart, for my levels of understanding. You guys are always looking for ways to get smarter. You guys are always looking for ways to understand things better. Get in touch with Cynthia if you have any need for a tool to help you along on this journey. She will work with you, tell her your sign, tell her where you're at, tell her how you're feeling, and she will be able to almost prescribe something for you, like something like this. You know, this is a stone, lapis lazuli is a stone of divination, and so for me in particular with the work I do, it's perfect for me. So however that applies to you, you know, heart opening, trusting yourself more. There's stones and crystals related to everything, and she will be able to really work with you. She's such a loving, beautiful soul, and she really is a healer, and you guys are healers. So I think it would be a very synchronistic match for you guys to get in touch with her. And, you know, if you're feeling lost and you don't know how to do the things I'm saying, first of all, don't take me telling you the truth as being harsh. I really do care about you guys. I'm sorry you're feeling lost. I'm sorry you're hurt. But there's no way out except to admit these things and work with them. They're not going to go away. You'll wake up, if you don't do this now, you'll wake up in 20 years, you'll still feel this way. What's the point? Right? So, I'll leave the info for this in the description box below. I'll also leave my email there, so if you want to get in touch with me, you know, to curse me out because I was so mean again, or because you want a reading, really, please do get in touch with me, because I really don't dislike you guys. I have such a soft spot for you guys that it is crazy. When I get on the phone with someone or Skype with someone or FaceTime with someone and I say, oh, so what's your sign? And they say Virgo. I'm always like, oh, you know, you guys are the sign that makes my heart melt, because I can feel all those things that you won't tell anybody, but you feel them, you know? So I really, really do care. I just want you to work with what you have. Staying safe makes me angry. Being safe irritates me. And I think that's what comes out when I do these readings for you guys, because I'm like, come on, take a risk. Come on, you can do it, you know? But I will work on softening my tone if that's what it has to be to get through to you. I don't think it is. I think this is the way to get through to you. But I will continue to work with it and modulate it to see how far we can get into your heads to get you to realize that your life can be so much better, that you can be happier. You really can. You don't have to live in misery, and you don't have to live in the confines of this material world the way you think you do. Okay? So, I hope you, well, I don't know if you liked it, but I hope you got something out of it. Like I said, I love you guys. I will see you in January. I'll be doing the January readings from Jamaica. Super cool. I'll be in Negril. If you want, you can follow me on Instagram at Amber Khan or at The Quietest Revolution, whichever one you choose. And my Snapchat is The Amber Khan, and there'll probably be tons of, you know, dance hall twerk videos on there in January. No lie. Seriously, no lie. Okay, I love you guys. I hope you like this reading and you don't take it too hard. And remember, if you want to leave me nasty comments, it's not going to work because everything is held for review. So don't drive yourselves crazy. I'll see you in January.